Roy Orbison, known to fans worldwide as the Dark Glasses Man, had a voice that could stir the deepest emotions. Songs like "Oh, Pretty Woman" and "Crying" became cultural touchstones, yet behind the elegant tone and signature dark glasses lay a life far more complex and turbulent than most ever realized. For decades, audiences believed they understood Roy through his music, but the story of his life reveals a man shaped by both extraordinary talent and profound personal loss. What he expressed through song was only part of the truth. The man behind the music faced heartbreak, tragedy, and struggles that made his art all the more poignant. Early beginnings and family life. Roy Kelton Orbison was born on April 23, 1936, in Vernon, Texas, the second of three brothers in a modest family. His father, Orby Lee Orbison, worked as an oil field driller, struggling for steady work in the aftermath of the Great Depression. His mother, Nadine, had a love for painting and poetry, instilling in Roy an appreciation for artistry and expression at an early age. His family lineage traced back to Ireland, with his great-great-grandfather having arrived from Lurgan in the 1700s to settle in Pennsylvania. In 1942, Roy's family moved to Fort Worth, Texas, as both parents found employment at aircraft factories during World War II. From the start, Roy faced physical challenges. Born with poor eyesight, he began wearing thick glasses at age 4, a look that would later become iconic. On his 6th birthday, his father gifted him a guitar, setting the stage for a lifelong passion. Roy learned to play from both his father and older brother, and by age 7, he was already convinced that music was his calling. Influenced by country and western swing, he admired artists like Hank Williams and Jimmie Rodgers' rising talent and early career. After graduating high school in 1954, Roy briefly attended North Texas State College to study geology, a practical fallback in case music did not work out. However, his passion for performing soon overtook his studies. He became enamored with the song Ooby Dooby and was determined to record it. By 1955, he had left college, joined the Teen Kings, and began a musical partnership that would define his early career. Around this time, he met Claudette Frady, who would become his wife and lifelong muse. Love, marriage, and domestic struggles. By the mid-1960s, Roy Orbison's public life was seemingly perfect. He had hit after hit, a dream career, and a beautiful wife in Claudette. She inspired "Oh, Pretty Woman" and many other songs, but their private life was far from idyllic. Touring pressures, fame, and long periods apart strained their marriage. Roy himself acknowledged occasional indiscretions, and Claudette's affair with Braxton Dixon, the contractor building their new home, dealt him a harsh emotional blow. Upon discovering the betrayal, Roy acted with remarkable composure, dismissing Dixon and personally overseeing the completion of the house with the help of a single carpenter. Their divorce in 1965 was finalized, yet love and shared parenthood brought them back together later that year. By December 1965, Roy and Claudette remarried, and for a time the couple seemed to have found happiness. Claudette toured with Roy in the UK, and he continued to grow as a performer, pushing the boundaries of stage presence with daring performances. A motorcycle accident during a UK performance broke his foot, yet Roy continued the show, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to his fans. Tragedy strikes. Claudette's death. Despite this apparent stability, fate intervened cruelly. On June 6, 1966, while riding motorcycles in Gallatin, Tennessee, Claudette was struck by a pickup truck. She was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were catastrophic, and she died at only 25 years old. Her death devastated Roy, leaving him with profound grief that would influence his music for the remainder of his life. Claudette had been his muse, his partner, and the inspiration behind some of his greatest songs. The tragedy imbued his work with a deeper melancholy, resonating in every note of his later ballads. Career shifts and musical decline. In the aftermath of Claudette's death, Roy threw himself into work. He collaborated with Bill Dees on songs for MGM's film The Fastest Guitar Alive. Initially intended as a genuine Western, the project evolved into a light-hearted comedy, in which Roy starred as a guitar-playing spy. The film was ambitious but unusual, diverging from the poignant music that had made him a star. Despite these creative endeavors, Roy's musical career experienced a decline during this period, challenged by shifting public tastes and personal grief. Yet his artistry remained, and he continued to compose and perform with integrity and passion. Resilience amidst personal loss. Bill Anderson's story is filled with light, but also with shadows that he has had to learn to walk through. Beyond the bright glow of the stage and the applause of countless audiences, he has endured the quiet ache of loss. Friends who once harmonized with him are now only memories, their voices living on in recordings and in the stories he retells. Collaborators who helped shape country's golden years have gone before him, leaving gaps that can never truly be filled. Each of these goodbyes carved new lines of wisdom into Bill's heart. Yet, what makes Bill remarkable is the way he has chosen to carry those memories. He never allowed grief to harden into bitterness. Instead, he honored his loved ones in the most natural way he knew, through music. Every lyric he wrote, every tender word he spoke on stage, carried echoes of those he had lost. For Bill, loss was never an ending, but an invitation to keep love alive in a new form. This resilience didn't come from denial or pretending the pain wasn't real. It came from embracing the truth that life's beauty lies in its fragility. Personal struggles and triumphs. While the world has long celebrated Bill Anderson as Whispering Bill, the soft-spoken gentleman with words that seem to flow like poetry, his personal journey has been far more complex. Like anyone else, he has known failure, disappointment, and the lonely silences that followed dreams delayed. Behind the curtain of fame, he endured the unraveling of marriages that once promised forever, and he faced the emptiness of returning to a quiet home after the roar of the crowd faded. But Bill never allowed those struggles to define the sum of his life. Where some might have let despair consume them, he chose determination. Each challenge became a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. He leaned into the philosophy that sustained him through every storm. Grateful, thankful, blessed. These three words became his compass, guiding him when the path was unclear. Bill's triumphs, therefore, were not limited to the accolades, awards, or chart-topping songs. His true victories came in the way he chose to keep showing up for life. Even when personal circumstances tried to silence him, enduring influence and cultural impact. Bill Anderson's place in country music history cannot be measured only by the number of songs he's written or the awards he has won. His greatest contribution lies in the way he has shaped the very soul of the genre. From his earliest hits to his latest works, Bill has been a storyteller of the highest order. He has written songs that capture not just moments in time, but universal emotions, heartache, hope, longing, and love, that continue to resonate across generations. What sets him apart is his subtlety. Known as Whispering Bill, he built a career not on bombast, but on nuance. In an industry where spectacle often grabs the spotlight, Bill proved that sometimes the quietest voice carries the farthest. His gentle delivery allowed his words to take center stage, reminding listeners that the essence of country music is not in volume, but in truth. Beyond his own performances, Bill has poured into younger artists, generously offering his wisdom and encouragement. Many who have sought him out for guidance recall his kindness and patience, qualities not always abundant in the competitive music world. For them, the fastest guitar, alive and career setbacks. Roy Orbison's first foray into film with The Fastest Guitar. Alive did not resonate with audiences or critics. Despite signing a 5-film deal, the movie flopped both critically and at the box office. The failure was difficult to recover from, and the remaining 4 films were quietly shelved, leaving Roy with a short-lived cinematic career. Yet, this setback did not diminish his passion for music. He turned his attention to tribute albums honoring 2 of his idols, Don Gibson and Hank Williams. Though these projects were heartfelt, they failed to achieve commercial success. The late 1960s marked a turbulent period in music, as the counterculture movement and psychedelic rock began dominating the charts. Roy's emotive ballads, once groundbreaking, now seemed out of step with the evolving tastes of younger audiences, and by March 1967, his single Crying Softly Lonely One barely charted in the top 100. Unimaginable personal tragedy. Roy's personal life was marked by heartbreak that few could endure. In 1968, while touring in Birmingham, England, he received news that would forever scar him. His home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, was engulfed in flames. Inside were his 2 eldest sons, Roy Jr. and Anthony, who tragically perished despite rescue efforts. The fire was later suspected to have started from an aerosol can of lacquer, though the exact cause remained uncertain. This loss, coming just 2 years after Claudette's death, left Roy devastated. Friends noted a stark change in him. Once vibrant and driven, he became withdrawn, quiet, and struggled to compose music. Even the comfort of his art could not ease the grief. The house was later purchased by his friend Johnny Cash, who himself would face a similar tragedy years later, adding a haunting continuity to the land's history. London life and a new beginning. Despite unimaginable sorrow, Roy sought solace in life's small joys. While touring the UK in 1968, he resided in London with his friend Bobby Bear. Known for their lively social lives, the 2 men tracked visits from various women in a humorous calendar, reflecting a light-hearted side of Roy often overshadowed by tragedy. It was in this environment that Roy met Barbara Well Hogan, a young German visitor whose vibrancy and charm captured his attention. Despite the age difference, Barbara was reported to be between 16 and 19. Their connection blossomed. Roy, having endured so much loss, found hope in this new relationship. On May 25, 1969, he married Barbara at the age of 33, marking a fresh start and a chance to rebuild a family and personal stability. Rebuilding a family, Roy's commitment to his family remained central, even as his career demanded constant travel. His youngest son with Claudette Wesley, born in 1965, was raised by Roy's parents to provide stability during Roy's extensive tours. Meanwhile, Roy and Barbara expanded their own family. Their first son, Roy Kelton Orbison Jr., was born in 1970, followed by Alexander in 1975. For Roy, fatherhood represented renewal, a chance to create stability and happiness after years of loss. Life in London offered him a mixture of personal fulfillment and professional opportunity, allowing him to continue performing while nurturing his new family. Though nothing could replace the children and wife he had lost, these years offered a semblance of healing and purpose. The dark glasses persona. One of Roy Orbison's most recognizable traits, the dark sunglasses, originated from necessity rather than fashion. Born with poor eyesight, he had worn thick corrective lenses since childhood. In 1963, just before a major UK tour with the Beatles, he forgot his prescription glasses on the plane. The only option was his dark sunglasses, which he wore during performances and public appearances. Photographers captured these images, and fans quickly associated the glasses with his persona. What began as a practical solution became an iconic element of his stage image, enhancing the air of mystery around him. Over time, the sunglasses became inseparable from Roy's identity, adding intrigue to his haunting voice and heartfelt performances. The dark glasses came to symbolize both the vulnerability and the enigmatic charisma that defined him as an artist. A late career resurgence. The 1980s marked a remarkable comeback for Roy Orbison. Collaborations with Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, George Harrison, and Bob Dylan as part of the Traveling Wilburys revitalized his career, introducing his music to a new generation. Albums like Mystery Girl and the group's collective work achieved critical and commercial acclaim, reaffirming Roy's place in musical history. He remained active in touring, recording, and even acting, demonstrating the same perseverance and professionalism that had characterized his earlier career. Audiences, both old and new, rediscovered his emotive vocal style, which blended vulnerability and power in a way few artists could match. This late resurgence highlighted Roy's adaptability and the timeless appeal of his artistry. Final days and sudden passing. By late 1988, Roy Orbison was busier than ever. He was preparing for tours and additional recordings, balancing family life with professional commitments. On December 4, 1988, he performed at the Front Row Theater in Highland Heights, Ohio, delivering a memorable but physically taxing show. Returning to Hendersonville, Tennessee, he planned a short rest before traveling to London for music video shoots. Tragically, his life was cut short shortly thereafter. Roy Orbison passed away unexpectedly, leaving behind a body of work that continues to inspire musicians and fans worldwide. His final years reflected a man who, despite personal loss and professional challenges, remained committed to his craft until the very end. A whisper that lasts forever. Bill Anderson's story is proof that some of the most powerful voices in music don't need to shout to be heard. His gentle delivery and heartfelt words carved a place in country music where honesty mattered more than spectacle. Through decades of change, he remained a constant, a man whose quiet strength spoke louder than any trend. Fans continue to feel his presence not just in the songs he wrote, but in the values he lived by: humility, gratitude, and grace. His influence stretches beyond charts and awards, settling deeply into the lives of those who found comfort and truth in his lyrics. Whispering Bill reminds us that music's greatest impact isn't always in the spotlight. Sometimes it's in the quiet echoes that linger long after the final note. His whisper, steady and timeless, will forever guide hearts across generations. Conclusion. Life beyond the music. Roy Orbison's story reminds us that fame and talent do not shield one from life's hardships. He experienced profound personal tragedies, including the deaths of his first wife and 2 sons, yet continued to produce music that moved millions. His ability to channel grief into art exemplifies the transformative power of creativity. From his early days in Texas to international stardom, from personal heartbreak to financial and artistic resurgence, Roy's life was a testament to perseverance and passion. Beyond the dark glasses and iconic songs lay a man of depth, resilience, and unyielding dedication to music, leaving a legacy that endures far beyond his lifetime.